class is in session, guys. This is Dawn with the Dawn of a New Era, and today we're actually going to talk about the different forms of sea moss. So in our last video was just an introduction. We kind of talked about the species, the most commonly used species, what sea moss is, what it isn't, misnomers between Irish sea moss and sea moss, different species, and also touched on how it can benefit you, right? This is just an introductory video. So today it's going to be our second class session. It's going to be actually the different forms of sea moss, because that's one of the most important things, right? Is how you're going to take it, right? Because, you know, you get really hyped up when you hear about what sea moss can do, but you know, function over fashion, right? Because it's fashionable. Sea moss is obviously trending right now. It's off the charts. It's going crazy, right? But how are you gonna get into your body? You know, some people are super herbalist, vegan, triathlon athletes and can weather the storm. But for your average human being, your average person living in society, how are you actually going to incorporate that into your daily life between work, wanting the chicken fajitas, or even if you're already vegan, you know, whatever your lifestyle is, we're going to discuss the different forms of how you can take sea moss, and you can draw the conclusion as to which one is the best for you. So without further ado, the three forms of sea moss are going to be your raw form, your gel form, and your powdered form, right? So now each one of these forms are going to get their own segment in this video. So if you want to skip ahead to the one that you want to know about, go ahead right now. Feel free. You won't hurt my feelings, I promise. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. The different forms of... All right, so different forms of sea moss. Which one should we go for first? Obviously, we gotta go with the original. Come on now, we gotta go with the original. We gotta keep it blood raw. But in this particular fashion, there is no blood involved. Wow, go figure that. Okay, so we're gonna go raw first because that's obviously the basis of everything, right? We want to get to, before we start talking about the different forms in which we can manipulate it, let's get back to the basics, right? ABC 1, 2, 3, right? We gotta crawl before we walk, right? So let's really understand what sea moss is. If you need a better understanding of what sea moss is, please, it's gonna be at the end of my video, and it's already on my channel. Go look up at the introductory to what sea moss is, right? Quick recap. Sea moss is a red algae that contains carrageenan and is farmed for that carrageenan and is harvested for that carrageenan. And this is how you're able to get that gel, right? Has a load of benefits, 92 vitamins and minerals in it, and the human body only has 102, so pretty much all your vitamins and minerals are covered with it. It's a multivitamin, right? So we're gonna go with the raw first. We're gonna do Eucheuma cottoni, right? So Eucheuma cottoni, and we're gonna have a separate video for Eucheuma cottoni and Irish sea moss, breaking it down. Often these two are confused and it's misnamed, right? But let's stick to what we're talking about right now, right? So this is the raw form of the sea moss, right? This is, here at the Dawn of a New Era, we carry Eucheuma cottoni and we carry Chondrus crispus. So I'm going to be displaying those two. I'm not actually going to be talking about Gracilaria or your Jamaican sea moss or your Honduran sea moss, even though Gracilaria grows in a variety of places, such as just as Eucheuma cottoni does. Now, the reason I choose to sell Eucheuma cottoni and even talk about it and why I like it, because I feel like it's very overlooked. It has a very, very extremely high carrageenan content. So that is why I choose Eucheuma cottoni. But without further ado, let's look at the raw form of it, right? And as I've said before, I call it the ramen noodle sea moss, right? The ramen noodle sea moss. So just take a look at that. Take a look at that raw form. take a look at that raw form right there. It is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. Right. Take it all in. Take it all in, please. I have all night. I am doing this at night. I actually got a chance to do this. So take it in. Take it in. So now this is actually the blonde, right? So this is the one I'm going to use for the purposes of this video, right? If you want to see all the different colors, look up my video that's coming out soon. I'm going to talk about all the colors. And these phones these days ran out of storage. But anyway, so this is the raw form. Now this is blonde, right? This is the blonde version of Ukima Katoni. It's been sun dried. This is why it's blonde. Ukima Katoni is naturally purple and or green. It's actually classified as a red algae, so you'll see the blonde more than often just because of the taste. It has a much milder taste. But as far as what you can do with it in the raw form, it's not really much you can do with it in this raw form except use it as food, right? So this is actually what it was used for. Its actually first recorded date is being used in roughly in the early 1600s to 1630s in the Philippines, right? So in the Philippines, it's actually a staple in their diet. The Philippines, Malaysia, Thailand, and a lot of Oriental countries, right? Ukima Katoni is often used. It's often known as elkhorn sea moss as well, right? Just because of how it looks, right? So I'm going to show you this, right? This is the raw form, dehydrated raw form. If you buy sea moss, this is how it's going to come, right? Ukima Katoni. Remember, always check for the species. If somebody can't tell you the species that they have, or if it's not the species that they say, double check about buying from them, right? Now, that is the dehydrated version, right? And it's amazing how this will expand almost 10 times to the size of it is now. And I'm going to show you that now. So here we have, and this is still considered a raw form. So I'm going to show you the raw sea moss as it is when it's actually rehydrated, right? So now you can kind of see why they call it elkhorn sea moss, right? The scientific classification is Ukima Katoni, but you can kind of see why it's called elkhorn sea moss, right? If you see that, you see that, yeah, you see that. It is absolutely beautiful and magnificent in all its glory. It almost looks like hair or some type of nervous system, right? And it's just crazy because these things help with all that. But yeah, that's Ukima Katoni, right? Let me see if I can get it. Let's see. Right, this is Ukima Katoni, ladies and gentlemen. It's the raw form of it. And like I said, what you want to use the raw form for, now this is actually being prepared to make sea moss gel out of. So I'm soaking it with lime. This has probably got about a good another 12 to 18 more hours. But Ukima Katoni is very good in ramen. Is very good as a noodle replacement, especially if you're gluten-free and trying to be grain-free. And you can use it in a variety of different ways. You can use it as a thickener for soups, smoothies. You can even blend it raw like this as well and make it into a gel. And you can actually use it as a fertilizer. Yeah, it makes really great fertilizer. It's high in phosphorus, potassium, and a plethora of other minerals that are good for your garden, right? So that's Ukima Katoni, and that's its raw form. And the benefits and the uses are pretty much going to be the same. So now we're going to talk about Chondrus crispus. This is still the raw form, right? So let's do change my gloves. Got to stay sanitary, mate. Okay. So let's look at the dry form first. I didn't realize until after I posted it in my last video that the dry form, when I showed the comparison, it was kind of blurry. So hopefully this one does more justice. So this is the raw form of Conjur's Crispus, right? And the same thing applies. You're gonna be able to use this in thickened stews, gravies, soups, smoothies, and whatnot, and use it as a food in culinary dishes. It is not ramen noodle looking like, so you know you would see this and be like, how can I use this? But you can use it as I know a lot of people use ham hocks or salt pork or different things that chicken bouillon or whatever they put in their food to just make it have like a extra flavor. This has a really unique flavor, and I'll get more into that when we start talking about the powder, but it has a really unique flavor and it thickens up whatever you place it in. So it's really good to use in culinary uses. Also fertilizer, really good for fertilizer, and obviously to be made into a gel. So this is actually Conjur's Crispus gel. You can see that. Conjur's Crispus Irish Moss Gel. Once again, Conjur's Crispus, this is the only Irish moss. This is the only Irish sea moss. If you buy Irish sea moss and it looks like this and not like this, that is not Irish sea moss. Please put your hands down. But and it's not a diss to anyone. You know, some people are misinformed. There's not a lot of information out here about sea moss, and it's just now really gaining traction. So hey, if you're doing it and you're out here doing it, more respect to you, because a lot of people aren't, and a lot of people aren't even willing to go that route. So respect to you, but if you are misinformed, I urge you to correct it, just not only for the benefit of the community of people who would like to know about sea moss, which is the world right now because it's trending, but also just as a better respect to your customers. And I'll never tell anybody how to run their business, but if you're going to sell a plant with 7,000 species in 7,000 different versions of it, it would probably be nice for you to actually know which version you have and stop mislabeling, because it leads to misinformation and expectations that are not really there, right? Dr. Sebi is gone, so it is up to us to classify and set the record straight. You know what I mean? Dr. Sebi said a lot of things that were taken out of context by the video footage that we have of him. A lot of people who quote Dr. Sebi and have Dr. Sebi inspired sea moss actually never met Dr. Sebi, right? So let him rest in peace, and let us honor his legacy, and any other person who was talking about sea moss since the days of old. Let us honor their legacy by staying true to what we're not only selling in commerce, but what we're actually putting out. Let's stick to the facts, right? Okay? Okay. So, as you can see right here, this is actually the rehydrated form of Conjur's Crispus. So I'm gonna take a single leaf and then I'm gonna grab a bunch of them. So it's not as easy to grab as the Yukimo Katoni, but like I said, the same thing applies. Raw form, culinary use, fertilizer, or to make it into a gel. All right, that's gonna be your main uses. And as you can see, this is how it would be in the ocean. If you can see that, all right. It's a very beautiful plant. And always remember, anything that's purple in nature is always going to be way more powerful, way more antioxidants, and a lot of anthocyanins, which is what you find in blueberries, blackberries, mulberries, eggplants, different dark purple, dark blue type things, you know. And this is something that allows it to carry more antioxidants, you know what I mean? So, But I think that's pretty much it for the raw form. The raw form is really simple. Culinary fertilizer, make it into a gel. It's not really much you can do it. You can actually eat it raw if you like, but that still goes into the category culinary. So that's pretty much what you can do with the raw form, and it's actually easy. The pro of this, the big pro, is that the raw form is cheaper than the gel form, already made. So if you can get used to the raw form, not everybody's a stickler for seaweed, but if you can get used to the raw form, you'll save tons of money. You'll be able to produce 10 times as much sea moss gel than you're getting paying $30, $40, and even $50 a jar, right? So these are the pros of having raw sea moss and what you can do with it. Now let's move on to the gel form. Now we're on the gel form. Yeah, the gel form. The notorious, the infamous, the widely critically acclaimed New York's bestseller. No, I'm just saying that because it's trending, but now we're on a gel form. And the gel form is probably the most amazing form of sea moss, is because sea moss is one of the few things that can actually do this, actually turn itself into a gel. And because of this carrageenan, I'm gonna say it right this time, right? Because I often say in my reels, in my previous videos, I say carrageenan, but potato, right? Carrageenan, because of its carrageenan properties, is able to turn into a gel. Now, because it's able to turn into a gel, with that instance alone, it opens up a load of possibilities, right? So just like the raw form, right? We can actually use this as a thickener, a plant-based thickener for soups, stews, and gravies. We can even use this as a jelly or a jam. We can make it into a vegan jello, right? And I'm sorry if you didn't know this right now, but Jello is actually not vegan. Jello is actually made from the gelatin made out of crushed up pig gelatin and bones and all kind of icky stuff. But that's a side note, right? But sea moss gel is trending, right? So what about it? Let's learn about it. So sea moss gel is obviously made from sea moss. You can make sea moss gel out of basically all of the different edible sea mosses. We've already talked about that. But in reality, what's really going on is the carrageenan is activated and it forms a gel form, a gelatinous jelly, right? And when you form this gelatinous jelly, it makes a gel, right? So this is the most commonly bought form of sea moss. It is the most trending. When you think of sea moss, you think of sea moss gel. I mean, it just comes in a variety of ways. Now, obviously, we have our raw forms, right? And you take the raw form and make it into a gel. You usually soak it with lime to cut out the seaweed taste. It won't get rid of it completely, but it'll get rid of it enough to where it's very edible. It's doable, right? As far as the taste buds go, for those who aren't used to the taste of seaweed, which I really don't believe, because honestly, man, people have seafood boils and eat crawfish. If you can eat crawfish and fish and shrimp and lobster, you can pretty much eat anything from the sea, right? Because this is what these things eat, the seaweed, So, but basically, if we're really getting into it, the sea moss gel is going to provide the same benefits, strengthens the bones, strengthens the joints, has the collagen keratin, the biotin keratin, the keratin content. It's going to improve your brain function because of the levels of iodine in it. It's going to have a lot of biotin in it. It's going to have a lot of folate. It's going to have a lot of calcium, phosphorus, the works. And we're going to have a separate video on the health benefits of sea moss. But sea moss gel will do all these things, right? The pro sea moss gel, it is very easy and assimilatable into the body, right? The con of it is that it only lasts about a month, right? Now you can freeze it and save it up to 6 months, right? You want to make sure if you save it in a glass jar, you want to make sure you have the proper mason jar or if you want to put it in plastic or ice trays, however you want to do it. But just make sure if you do save it in your glass jar that you get it in, make sure it's the right type of mason jars, because there's certain type of mason jars that can be frozen, and there's certain ones that will not. They will crack and bust open, just like if you had a bottle of soda or water or beer in the fridge, right? So just be careful with that. So we have our raw sea moss gel, which right now I'm displaying Chondrus crispus, right? So this is the Chondrus crispus Irish moss sea moss gel, right? And you can see that deep dark purple color. And as you'll see in our next video, it's a lot different from the purple Euchema cottoni. It's a lot more mineral rich. But as you can see, this is a gel-like substance, right? So this gel-like substance gets in there, it gets in your digestive system, it just removes all cholesterol from your arteries. It just removes all cloggage in your drainage system, right? Because you got to look at the human body almost like a sink, right? So the human body is like a sink to where the drain is your colon, and everything else above the drain is actually your intestines and your digestive system, right? So, you know, if something is clogging the colon, you can have as many dishes as you want and pour as much water. The sink is going to overflow. This is how you get in your acid reflux. And then also, you're going to have less bowel movements. And just, you know, disease only comes from a lack of easiness, right? Because it's a dis-ease, right? So everything is easy. Anything that goes against the natural order of life puts you at a dis-ease. Hear what I'm saying, right? We're going to go into it in another video, I promise. I know it's getting repetitive at this point, but I'm serious. So anything that goes against the natural order of life puts you at a dis-ease, right? So with that being said, with this gel flowing down your internal intestines and system, it's just going to ease everything out of you. Your cholesterol, your clogged arteries, your heart problems, your digestive issues, your colon problems. Because actually what a lot of people don't know is that sea moss is actually a mild, emphasis on mild laxative, right? So if you have something in you that needs to get out and you eat sea moss gel on a regular basis, you will get it out. And why is this? It also has a lot of fiber. And without fiber, you can't really digest and process food properly, right? This is always why a standard meal, and I was raised in the old school ways, there was always 3 different vegetables with your main side. Now we've gotten down to 2 vegetables, and they're not even really vegetables, it's 2 starches, whatever. You know, some starches have beneficial elements in it, but at the same time, you just got to realize the point I'm making is that it was always more vegetables than meat on your plate in a standard meal, right? A home cooked meal. Because we eat out so much, because we're not cooking our own food, and because we've gotten away from that ways, you don't really see that much. But the gel actually acts as a substitute for that, even if you're not doing that, right? So the gel's going to get in there and just mellow everything out, and because of its texture and consistency, it's going to actually mellow everything out and just smooth everything out, smooth, and just go through and just flow like a jelly, you know, get jiggly, get wiggly, get jiggy with it. Nah. I'm just kidding, right? But no, seriously, and I will demonstrate the texture of it, right? Give me 1 second. So, and oh, how rude of me, right? Let me introduce the sea moss gels that we have available right now. This is not the only ones that are available. This is just the ones in the video. We have tons of sea moss gels. And actually on the site, you can actually customize your own sea moss gel. You can pick the sweetener from organic blue raw agave, organic raw clover honey, organic date sugar, coconut sugar. Pick your fruit, and then even pair it with another fruit to get the perfect flavor for you. And you can actually even choose your sea moss. So it's actually beautiful, and all our sea moss gels come with that function. Some are standalone, and we also have a certain product that is called fruit infused sea moss gel that is perfect for just if you want the best taste. But we'll get into that, right? So this is Conjures Crispus. This is how the Conjures Crispus gel looks. If I can get it open. This is how the Conjures Crispus gel looks, right? Very solid. Jiggly. This is our blonde, which is our most commonly bought one because of its mild flavor, right? Let's go ahead and open this one. And as you can see, it's not, you see a little couple droplets, but this thing is not coming out the jar, right? And one of our fan favorites is our fruit infused sea moss gel, like I was stating before. Fruit infused. So this one actually is a combination in between strawberry and blueberry. It kind of makes it a little hectic for me sometimes, just because I don't know which fruit I'm gonna get. You know, like it's over 1,000 different variations of how you can pick the fruit infused sea moss. So somebody picked strawberry and blueberry. So I made strawberry blueberry sea moss with blonde, right? So I would take this blonde sea moss gel, right? And then as I'm blending it and making it into a gel, I would actually infuse it with strawberries and blueberries. If it's a local order, I usually do fresh fruit. If not, and I have to ship it, I usually will use the powder, but the powder is just a freeze-dried form of the fruit. It's all organic. The sea moss is wild harvested, so just so you know, right? I do keep myself to a higher standard because I believe that when you're dealing with the ocean nowadays, it's a lot of different toxins, heavy metals, mercury, yada yada, right? So I'd like to have the best quality sea moss, and it's no point in having the best quality sea moss if you're not going to use the best quality fruits and ingredients to make it what it is, right? So without further ado, let's look at the fruit infused sea moss. Let's do the test. Can we do the jiggle test? Will it pass? I think it did. Oh man, that's amazing, right? So yeah, so the sea moss gel can be used in a variety of ways. Just to break it down, I don't want to take too much of your time. But the sea moss gel can be used in a variety of ways. The cool thing about sea moss gel is that you can actually use it internally, like eat a teaspoon of it, and also use it topically on your skin. So that's going to be the cool thing. And in another video, I will show you how sea moss has been used in the cosmetic industry since the 1970s. And this is why you can get a cocoa butter or a shea butter lotion or Eucerin or CeraVe, whatever people use on your face. That lotion you use on your face, I'm not sure how to pronounce it right. Potato, huh? But you're going to really see how this is used widely, because when and if you've already been on a kind of, you know, whatever lifestyle, but if you ever seen a real oil, right? A real oil is oily. So when I buy cocoa butter lotion and it looks like a white cream, well, how is this turning to a cream, right? And it's because of the carrageenan content. And I will display that in another video, don't worry. But the sea moss gel is going to be very good for you. The recommended dosage is about 1 teaspoon a day. I actually recommend, if you're just starting it, or if you're maybe did it before and you're starting again and you're trying to see real effects, 2 to 3 times a day, right? You can either do it once in the morning or once at night, but more realistically, it's better to do it
before and after every meal, right? Because this gelatinous substance is going to help push out and digest, and it's also going to help just smoothing everything over, helping everything flow. Because it's not about what you eat and what you do, it's just as long as it's processed, right? The only thing that causes different diseases or ailments is improper bodily function. And when the body is not functioning properly, it's because it doesn't have the minerals it needs, it doesn't have the nutrients it needs, it doesn't have the certain type of textures and forms of plant-based material in order to function properly, right? So when you have a sea moss gel, this actually mimics the mucous membrane, and the mucous membrane is the most prominent form of the cell, and your body is only made out of cells that make tissues, that make organs, that make organ systems. So to the root of it is all mucous membrane, right? So when your mucous membrane is compromised, this is when you get snotty nose and congestion, or as they say, phlegm. Phlegm is dirty or toxic mucus, right? That has to be expelled from the body. And it can come out of your stool, it can come out of your urine, it can come out of your sweat, it can come out of your nose, however it comes, or it can come out of your mouth even. Obviously, you cough. You know, so this is actually gonna rectify that, because the mucous membrane is necessary. Think of the mucous membrane as almost like a fly trap, right, or a rat trap, where it's like this sticky jelly-like substance that keeps the toxins away from touching the actual organs. So when you eat this, it's gonna do that to your digestive system, your lungs, your throat, your colon, your esophagus. Every single part of your body is just going to smooth in there, coat it, and have this gelatinous substance. But the best part about it is it's not some type of weird science fact. It actually just is what your body already does. This thing helps you do what your body already does. So that's the benefits of the gel form. So how can you use the gel form? You can use it as a lotion. You can use it to mix with your lotion or your shampoo or conditioner. It'll make your hair really soft and shiny, have a lot of sheen in it, make it really soft and luscious. You can actually eat it internally, and this will help with respiratory issues, bone strength, digestive issues, colon cleansing, detoxes, liver, kidney issues, and it also supports brain health as well, right? And the main thing about sea moss, if we haven't touched it already, is the thyroid, right? And the thyroid rules the metabolism. So this actually is a big thing that can help with weight loss as well. So, I mean, the benefits are endless. Like I said, I want to touch more of the health benefits in another separate video so I can just dive in deep into it. But this is just a quick overlay synopsis because we're talking about the forms right now, right? So sea moss gel is going to get you exactly what you need, where you need to be. The only con of it is that it only lasts a month. Now, remember, you can freeze it for 6 months. But other than that, I mean, that's pretty much it on the sea moss gel, right? So, lastly, let's go ahead and take a look at it. And also, sneak peek, these are actually 2 sea moss gels I have just created. I don't think it's ever been done. But I did it for Black History Month. So this is Melanin Magic Sea Moss Gel, which is a jet black sea moss gel, the Melanin Magic. And I haven't yet chose what I'm going to call this one. I think White Magic would be so cliche, but that's where I'm at right now. So for now, we're gonna call it the White Magic Sea Moss Gel. And we've seen a lot of sea moss gels, and you can go look it up. You can go search it yourself. Go search white sea moss gel, or go search black sea moss gel. You won't find. I'm like El Roca with the sea moss. You'll never find. Constant creations, you know. So this pretty much is it with the sea moss gel. You can use it topically, and use it in a lot of creams, shampoo, conditioners, anything that you use on your body or hair. You can use sea moss gel and apply it directly to the skin. Just be careful, because sea moss does dry up after a while, and it'll form like if you ever had a face mask on and it starts it hardens and it forms a mask and it peels off. So just be aware of that. That's why you always want to mix it with some type of oil or whatnot, right? You want to mix it with something. Now, if you have oil in your, say you oil your body and you want to put a layer of sea moss on there, that's perfect, because a lot of people use oils to hydrate their skin, but oil doesn't actually hydrate the skin as much as water does. The problem is that water evaporates. So the oil actually locks the moisture in. So you take this, you got all your minerals, your biotin, your keratin, and what's the other one? Biotin, keratin, and why am I stumped like this? Biotin, keratin, and the collagen content. So you mix all that when your skin is going to heal your skin. Actually, in a lot of different wounds and different ailments, right? Iodide is actually used to treat skin ailments. So with all the iodine in here, it's actually going to do a lot of good. And it actually has iodine in 3 different forms, right? So this is going to do really wonders for your skin, your hair. You eat it, it's going to build your bones, your collagen, because collagen is actually what makes up the joints, right, and the cartilage in between your joints and bones, right? So, if you ever see an old person and they having a hard time walking, it's probably because their bones are sitting on top of bones and not the actual collagen, which is the joints that make you flexible, right? So, and it varies from person to person, but for sure, if you eat this on a daily basis, you're going to see those benefits. And if you're looking for atopical benefits or aesthetic benefits or physical external benefits, just apply it directly to skin, and you can just mix this in with your lotion or your hair care routine you already use. It's just going to be, it's almost like fortifying it, right? And it's going to make it that much more potent, right? So this is the sea moss gel. I did want to show you the texture of the sea moss gel. So we're gonna look at the texture. I'm gonna use the blonde. So you can see this, right? I'm gonna take this spoon. I'm gonna just scoop it out. Gelatinous, right? This is what your cartilage and joints look like, right? You see how solid it is and how hard it is to move? That's how your body is, right? This is the fluids in your body, and that's how it's supposed to be. And this is how you stop injuries. This is how you stop aches and pains and arthritis and different things. This gelatinous substance, collagen, keratin, biotin, moving throughout all your body, right? So you always want to use that if you're suffering with those things. This will also help. You can apply it directly to the skin and it will sink in, but obviously you're always going to get the best benefit if you do it internally and take it internally. So that's what it looks like, and I just want to show you the fruit infused sea moss gel as well, because this is almost like a jelly or a jam. You see that? That looks like strawberry jam, doesn't it? And it's actually quite tasty. So, like I said, it's very customizable. Go check it out on the site. We have loads of sea moss, and we're always having a sale depending on different season, whether it's Black History Month, whether it's spring break or summer equinox, spring equinox, the holiday, Christmas, Thanksgiving, all these different things, right? We try to accommodate our customer base, right? So we always have something special for you. And actually, if you go onto the site, you will actually see an option to sign up to the site, just like you see on most sites, and you'll get an instant 20% off coupon code directly to your email. So just check out our website. You'll see all of those things. But now we're actually going to move on to the powder and finish off this video, because we got a lot more to do tonight, right? Okay, can't keep you all night, right? I know you got other things to do, so do we. So let's move on to the powder. All right.
So now we're on the powder. This one is actually very special to me. When I actually started using sea moss, the powder form was the first form I could find, right? That was organic, readily available, and fit all my criteria, my personal individual wants and needs, right? So let's get into the powder. So the powder, right? We're gonna get a little messy. The powder, right? This is your Irish moss, sea moss powder. Now, currently we only carry Chondrus crispus, Irish moss powder, and Gracilaria powder. We do not carry Euchema cottoni powder. This is the only powder we carry, right? It is very unique and amazing because it's literally just raw Irish moss, right? Ground up into a powder. So you can't not lose, honestly. So basically what the powder is gonna give you is all the same benefits of sea moss, whether it's in a gel form or raw form, because technically the powder is a raw form. It's just a powdered form of the sea moss. So what's basically going to give you is all the same benefits, but the main thing about Irish moss powder, sea moss powder, Irish moss powder, it is way more convenient, right? So we have it in our powder form, and you can grab yourself a pouch, right? And you can just sprinkle it. Or we even have our shaker, right? And these are our shakers reserved for herbs and seasonings. However, here at the Dawn of an Era, we consider Irish moss a herb and seasoning, right? So the main thing about sea moss is that if you watch the introductory, or if you know anything about sea moss or seaweed, the ocean is full of salt. So everything that comes out of the ocean is full of salt. So this is very high in sodium, right? But a very beneficial sodium that's paired with magnesium and potassium and phosphorus. So right, this sodium is not going to alert your doctors. It's not going to raise your blood pressure. This type of sodium will actually give you what they call a umami or umami flavor. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but umami, whatever, you know what I mean? Umami flavor, right? Because it'll have that little taste of the ocean. It's a perfect complement to any dishes. You can sprinkle it in and season it and mix it into your seasoning blend if you make homemade seasoning blends, or if you already use a seasoning salt of your own, you can pair that with it. Or if you just want to take a couple of sprinkles and just, you know, in your soups, gravies, whatever you're making, it'll thicken it up and give it a good flavor, right? It's very oceany, but not oceany in a way that is distasteful. It's very flavorful. It's full of flavor. It's full of sauce. I don't know what like the benefits are endless with this, right? So we know the benefits of sea moss, but this gives all the same benefits, but puts it and packs it in a convenient fashion and form, so where you can use it on the go, right? You can use it on the go with the salt shaker, the pouch, or you could even just put it in your foods, right? Sorry, I'm a little clumsy, but you can put it in your foods, anything you want to, right? This is gonna be the best one for you if you are not apt on handling seaweed and you don't like the texture of Jello. This is your best bet if you still want to try sea moss, right? And one really unique and cool thing about this is that you can actually make sea moss gel out of the powder. The powder lasts way longer than the raw form. The raw form of Irish moss only lasts up about 3 years. Euchema cottoni and Gracilaria only lasts raw form, dehydrated raw form, for about 1 year. So this lasts almost indefinitely. Of course, different retailers will give you a best buy or expiration date, but when you dehydrate something and you put it into a powder form, it almost has an indefinite amount of storage as long as it's sealed tight, right? So this is the same thing with Irish moss. So not only can you use it as a seasoning, you can make gel out of it. You can eat it. You can put it on your face. You can use it in your favorite lotions. You can mix it with your conditioners, your shampoos. I mean, the benefits are endless because it's just a powder that you're sprinkling in whatever you're using, right? And you'll get all those same benefits, and they're even going to be more potent because they're extremely exponentially heightened because it's in a raw form, right? So it's actually pretty beautiful, all right? So just to touch bases, right? The powdered form is going to be able to be used in a variety of ways. It is the most convenient, right? You can sprinkle it. We here at the Dawn of a New Era exclusively, we had it in a salt shaker, and you can just sprinkle it on your foods, right? Or we have it in a pouch to where you can use it in your smoothies, right, for your nutrition or however you see fit, right? And we also have it in capsules, right? So another big thing, and I see on TikTok, right, is the Irish moss capsules, and they often pair it with burdock and bladderwrack, which is actually genius, right? So if you pair Irish moss specifically with bladderwrack and burdock, you have a complete protein, a complete multivitamin, and it contains all the essential vitamins and minerals naturally occurring in the human body. It has the full spectrum, right? So that is actually amazing. Those things are good. But what I do notice is that on the ingredient labels on some of these products that are TikTok viral and going across the internet, right, they are not disclosing if these things are organic, right? So this is the main thing, not only with the powder, but with everything, but specifically the powder, because, you know, powder, even if we've all watched Narcos and even this new show out, Griselda Blanca, you know, there's a certain side to life in which there's a dope or drug game, right? There's a as above, so below, right? So, you know, doctors weigh prescription pills on the scale, but it is legal. But some people are in their house right now cooking methamphetamine and making it illegal, right? So as above, so below. If the quality cannot be verified, right, there is always a possibility that the product has been cut or compromised, right? So whenever you're dealing with a powder, as above, so below, with it, whatever you're doing in life, right, you always want to make sure who the manufacturer is. You want to know a little bit about the company, and you want to know a little bit about everything, because a lot of sea moss powders I see are pure white, or they're grayish, foggy-ish color, right? But Irish moss is purple, right? So if I was to dehydrate the Irish moss and grind it up, shouldn't the powder be purple, as we see? But this is not what you get most of the time with Irish moss powders. You get grayish, whitish, cloudy-like powders. Now, this can be for a variety of reasons. Either they cook it first and then dehydrate it, or maybe it's just not a good quality. Maybe they're mixing in with things. I don't know, and I'm not here to state that claim, right? That's for you to investigate, right? But if you're Irish moss, now specifically Irish moss, now if you're getting a Euchema cotonia or Gracilaria and it's a different color, we're gonna touch on that later in our next video, explaining the different colors and how they break down. But specifically Irish moss and Contras crispus, you always wanna make sure you go with a good supplier that is wild harvested, right? You want wild harvested. I mean, some people farm it, some people don't. Either way is good as long as it's grown in the ocean and it's getting those natural nutrients that it would get from the North Atlantic and the Rocky Coast, because it does grow on rocks. But just be very careful, because this can be compromised, right? And so can all of these, right? Because as we talked in our introductory video, we talked about it. The raw form absorbs the seawater. Seawater mimics the human body's composition, right? Because we're 70% water, 30% flesh, just like the ocean or the earth is 70% water, 30% land. So the thing that mimics our human liquid composition is sea salt, right?
Now, the Irish moss, the sea moss, is in the sea and it absorbs these things. This is how it can rehydrate, and you see the full extent of how it will look in the ocean, right? So, just have to be very careful because these things do absorb things from the ocean. So just make sure that you get it from a supplier that you trust and who's open and honest with you. Remember, I told you, always check the species. Always see if they even are open about the species that they carry. Make sure that your Irish moss looks purple, short, and dense, and not gold and ramen noodle looking like, right? If it's sea moss, say it's sea moss and give me a species. If it's Irish moss, it's Irish moss, and it's Conjus crispus. Somebody, can I get an amen? All right, amen. You know what I mean? Like, come on, we got to step our game up, right? People are depending on different forms of holistic health methods nowadays, right? Because people's belief and faith in the pharmaceutical companies is dwindling, and that's being pretty modest, right? But we're not here to deter anybody from anything. You always want to check in with your physician, and you always want to go with things that work for you and just slowly ease your way. The turtle wins the race, right? So whatever you're doing, whether it's this, anything, you always want to take your time, right? But that's pretty much the powder form. So you can use it you can make a gel out of it. You can use it in your cosmetic products. You can also use it as seasoning. You can also use it as a flour replacement because it thickens, and it has the same effect that flour does, right? Just a little bit saltier, but don't have to worry about the sodium content because it's in its proper form and it mimics the form of the salt naturally found in the human body. So you don't really have to worry about that, right? So, I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. So, I don't know, man. I'm pretty excited just even talking about it, right? So, like, we have the raw form, the powder form, and the gel form. I mean, you take your pick. You got to decide for you, right? I'm only laying the facts out. You know your life. You know what you do on a daily basis. You know what you will and what you won't do. And when you get caught up in the flow of life and what you're going to be able to do and not do. So this one's on you. You choose which one is best. And my personal belief system is that if you cannot choose, get all of them, right? So get all of them. Get a little bit of raw, get a little bit of powder, get a little bit of gel. Experiment with them. Obviously, the powder is going to be more convenient and last the longest. The raw is going to be cheapest, especially if you're trying to get sea moss gel. And the gel is the gel, right? You can use it topically and internally, and it has that jello-like texture. It's just going to coat your organs with so many vitamins and minerals, heal acid reflux, heart health, cholesterol, get the mucus and flu symptoms out of the body, and it's going to completely detox your lungs and the rest of your body, your kidneys, your liver. I mean, it just does everything, and either one of these forms will do that, but the gel is probably the most easiest to take because the gel is so customizable, right? So, I mean, it's just really up to you guys. So, it's been great talking to you guys. I will see you guys on the next installment of Sea Moss 101, which we were actually going to talk about the different colors of sea moss and go into depth about not only the species Euchema cottoni and Conjus crispus, but why they have different colors and more about the actual plant itself. And it is in this aspect that we think that you will understand exactly what sea moss is and what sea moss can do for you in a better way if you not have already highlighted that, right? So, as always, this is the dawn of a new era, and as always, we give them heal every time. Signing out.